I understand what Seven is fighting for, but the approach kasi is, I believe, modeling the wrong behavior for fellow creatives and young, impressionable photographers who look up to Seven. Seven Barretto, he recently is making the rounds on socials, and everyone has having this discussion about he did 8 hours of work and he only got paid 8K. He shot almost 100 packs. Absolutely lowball. Totally understand Seven's frustration. And I do agree with what he's fighting for, which is fair rates. We shouldn't be abused by clients who abuse their leverage and power. Totally naintindihan ko yan. This is something that so many creatives struggle with. I agree with that, Seven. What I disagree with is his approach to all of this. Basically, he said he did a project with them before, and that was his basis for him assuming that he would be paid for the amount of work that he did. Though it wasn't clear for this particular project that he was gonna get paid the amount that he expected. So what happened is when he got paid, sobrang na-surprise siya. This is what he said. He took screenshots and posted on his social media, talking to a talent coordinator, as I assume, saying basically he was basically frustrated and was pouring it out. When it came to rate na, may please get your asking rate, you should have asked me this before we proceed with the project. I've been shooting for the brand for years already. I understand the authority rate for some projects, but I think the management should stop. Creatives deserve better than that. Pay us according to the amount of work we did. This is where I just disagree with the approach. I get Seven's frustration, but what he's saying here kasi is, you should have asked me this before we proceed with the project. You are absolving yourself from accountability of having to do this as well yourself. You should make it clear. Us as creatives need to make it clear. Set contracts, put it in writing para klaro lahat before we do any work or any service, professional service, to any client. This is basic practice. This is standard business practice. And all good, decent clients do agree to these things. Let's talk for the article. Kasi in-explain ni Seven to in our exchanges. Sabi niya, point taken, if we ask for contrast, this particular client will blacklist them and think that we're brats or divas, resulting to us not having any clients or no food in the table. Let me know. What do you feel about us feeling that pressure and being abused? I will touch on that later. By the way, we had a very civil conversation, and I definitely appreciate this with Seven. He's obviously a articulate, educated, level-headed person, but this is a frustrated creative, just tired for a broken system, an abusive system. I'll touch on this later. Let's go with the article because this is what everyone has been seeing and a lot of young, impressionable, creative professionals have been seeing. This is my main issue. What Seven is fighting for is fair rates, but his approach is basically modeling and saying that even if I do not talk to the client and make clear how much my rate is and put that into writing, the client should still know what I'm worth, even if it's a new project because we worked on past projects. So it's okay for me to assume and not do my due diligence and make sure everything is in writing and make sure at least you have some paper trail na nag-areglo kayo sa rate for this particular project. Even if I do not do that, it's okay for me to expect to be paid my standard rate that I have for myself, what I am worth, basically. That is the mindset and that is the behavior and the attitude that you are modeling, which I believe absolves any creative professional of the accountability to do healthy business practices. Young creative photographers who look up to Seven because he is very well positioned already say, dahil ginawa ni Seven yan, gagawin ko din yan. I will expect kung ano man rate ko, maski hindi kami nag-usap, dapat bayaran pa rin ako. Pero kung hindi nila nakuha, ma-offend ako, ipuputok ko sila sa social media. This is my only gripe. I understand what Seven is fighting for, but the approach kasi is, I believe, modeling the wrong behavior for fellow creatives and young, impressionable photographers who look up to Seven. In a world where it's already so hard for creatives to make it, especially here in the Philippines, because standard practices are really hard to come by for a lot of people, a lot of clients abuse. Do you really think modeling emotional behavior, because Seven here was definitely emotional, Had he been a little bit more level headed, he was frustrated, I understand. Had he been a more level headed and still went public, let me make an example. I have spoken to this client. We did not discuss rates, but based on the work I have done for them, I assumed that I would be paid the amount based on the work that I have provided. Since we did projects together, I expected that I would be paid the same because we already have that working history. So basically, binayaran ako ng ganitong trabaho, okay naman yung bayad nila. For this one, it's safe to assume that I would be paid the same thing. Had he done this, and then he proceeded on saying, I brought it up with the client and I said, please pay me my standard rate. This is the rate based on the history. Kasi may history na sila eh. Seven, you have history already. Binayaran ka na ng rate mo. You can just bring it up. Please pay me the amount based on the amount of work. You know my rates. If he did that, and the client said, no, we're not going to pay you that rates. We'll still pay you editorial rates. If he said that, and he brought it up on social media, kinausap ko sila ng maayos, sinabi ko that I assumed you would pay me my rates, I gave him a chance to pay me my actual rate. They still pay me editorial rates and not the actual rates that I'm supposed to be paid based on our working history. Solid yan, Seven. Meaning you were professional with it, you tried to handle it properly, and because they still didn't pay you what you are worth and what you're normally paid for based on your working history, you went public and called them out. Walang butas sa'yo. You are not modeling entitled behavior. You are not excusing them for the responsibility of having to negotiate yourself and making sure the scope of work is clear and putting that into writing. You are modeling professional, objective, healthy behavior. Kasi binigyan mo sila ng chance na mag-ayos and they still didn't. If you did it that way, wala akong kaso. Kasi kung napanood yan ng kahit anong photographer na baguhan pa lang or kahit anong creative that looks up to you or sees this and like, oh tama, gagawin ko yan. Si Seven Barretto na yan eh, gagawin ko rin yan. Are you really helping them succeed in a world that is already so hard for creatives? Are you helping them practice and nurture healthy business habits that will get you closer to finding clients that actually value you? It's not, Seven. And this is my only issue. Everything you're fighting for, when he says even here, na I'm also calling out some photography, videography companies kung yung simula ng ganitong system, kumakay ko sa XD low budget, ganito, ganon, ganon, ganon. I agree. This is plagued in all creative industries, not just in creative industries, even in manufacturing, supplying. Client will find a cheaper factory. Client will find anything to do it for cheaper. This is something everyone struggles with. This is not new. I understand your frustration and I applaud your initiative to try to start conversations. But the thing is, you are modeling irresponsible behavior towards a client. Had you taken a breath and said, okay, how can I do this the best way para at least the way I do this is right and walang kaso sa akin? I understand the frustration. I understand you being like, oh my God, I cannot believe I am being reduced to this. Valid, okay to be angry, but when you act emotionally, it can't lead to very good courses of action. Seven, it really can't. Look at the comments. They said you should have done a contract. They said you should have made it clear. They said you could have gone about this a little bit better. Rather than blowing that up on social media, which is modeling this behavior for all of fellow creatives na, oh, dapat ganito, dapat ganito. Yes, you're starting a conversation with this client to start paying creatives more, but this has happened time and time and time again. There will always be clients that will try to abuse you and really throw their weight para hindi ka nalibayaran maayos. That does not go away. That is always there. Had you modeled behavior that is professionally healthy, that other creative professionals can see na parang ginawa niya na maayos pero ganun pa rin, and then fought for your cause, walang butas sa'yo. But here we are modeling behavior that is unhealthy that other professionals might follow because they look up to you because you're very well positioned. This is his answer to me. You should have had contracts. I'm interested to know your opinion about clients taking advantage of the creatives like us, excluding you, of course, because you seem to get fair treatment with the contract first basis. Congrats. Just a heads up, contract first basis may be working for your field, but guess what? Not in the editorial industry. And this is what I'm trying to stand for. I've had enough at this, and this has to change. The harder we push for contracts, the higher the risk of losing clients because they blacklist us, they think we're brats, resulting to us not having any clients at all. No food in the table, let me know. I appreciate Seven's manner of talking to me, which was very civil and very respectful on both ends. This is what I asked him. Had you brought up your price of the scope would work and they offered you the rate, would you have said yes? Another question, do you get this treatment just with the client or do you also get similar treatment with other clients? Last question, do you have clients who say yes to your contracts and asking price? This is his answer. Yes, the price was brought up. The client knows how much I charge for projects based on category. Based on your post, you'd say that this is a new one, but in our field, again, it's not how it works. I don't get this treatment just with this client. There are a lot more. Some even have contracts with me that they violate, like photos being used for branding commercial use, even if the contract states it's only for personal use, like birthday posts versus I don't get paid for more than a year. I understand this. Yes, I have clients who agree to my rate without any hesitations, and I am very thankful for them. These are the ones who follow the right process, the one I'm trying to standardize in our field. Now, if a client will blacklist you and call you a diva for simply asking for a contract with his standard business practice, one, this is a horrible client if this is true. Two, there are ways that you can report this client because there are, I believe, laws. You can, don't quote me on this, you can consult on an attorney. There are laws that protect you from this sort of practice, which is abusive. And three, this is obviously a client that has leverage. If this is a client who has an event where it's a lot of celebrities, syempre so many people want to shoot. Kung nag-no ka, the client can pick so many other photographers in your field of the same caliber who will say yes to that. This happens all the time. I'm not saying it's right, but it is the reality of the creative professional. My God, guys, we struggle with this all the time for years. But if we work hard enough, if we understand how to hone our craft and get to an excellent level with integrity and professionalism, do proper research on how to market yourself properly, position yourself properly, find the right clients for you, I guarantee you, you can find clients consistently who value you. To add to that point, Seven says here, yes, I have clients who agree to my rate without any hesitations, and I am very thankful for them. These are the ones who follow the right process, the ones I'm trying to standardize in our field. Seven, if there are clients that refuse to change because they have leverage, they will continue to abuse that power. Clients like this exist. Get rid, good riddance. Do not work with this client. If you choose to work with them and play ball because they're trying to, of course, pull their weight because they have leverage and power, because a lot of people want to work with them, that is your decision na. But you said yourself, you find clients who value you. Get rid of this client so you can make more space for clients who do value you. Clients like this exist. And you are already saying that you have clients that value and pay you this way. Focus on them. Don't put your time, energy, and effort to abusive clients. You can do this. You can get to a level where all your clients respect and value your craft. It is possible. But the way, what you are modeling when you reacted this way in this Inquirer article really is a type of attitude because you are not taking accountability for how you could have done things better, will only prevent you from getting to that place because you're modeling behavior that is unhealthy and modeling it to other impressionable creatives. Be emotional. Don't take accountability for how you could have done things better. Don't take responsibility for yourself. This is a screwed up, creative, abusive industry that really just, abuses creatives. Kawawa naman kami. Guess what? The reality is there will always be abusive clients. It's not going to go away. It really isn't. So what do? You put yourself in a position where you no longer have to work with clients like these, where you have many clients who value you, and that is your consistent clientele. but you cannot get there by unhealthy business practices. Anong kailangan kong gawin para makarating ako sa punto na lahat ng mga client ko nirespeto ako? Nagagawa ba to? May mga photographer ba na lahat nirerespeto? Meron ba? Anong ginagawa nila na hindi ko ginagawa? When you start engaging in this type of mindset, you are taking accountability for yourself. Kung successful ka, kung makarating ka sa puntong yon o hindi, nasa sayo yon. What you are doing in this Inquirer article has a lack of accountability for yourself. It is already so hard to be successful in the creative industry. Seven. I am just really afraid of the kind of attitude you are modeling. Just with this, the approach, that's it. But what you're fighting for, I agree. So many people lowballing and agreeing to X deals, I agree. It lowers your rate because so many people have leverage. You can get to a level where you are in a position where you are not an option. You do not compete with so many options in the same level as you. You can get to a level where you are Seven Barretto and you have conducted yourself to a standard that not many people reach. And you can only reach that through practicing excellence, practicing integrity, practicing healthy business practices, doing your research, and developing yourself to becoming the kind of professional that attract those clients by taking accountability for where you are in your creative profession. Not by blaming a bullock system, not by blaming how hard it is, not by blaming how it is. Because guess what? There will always be people like that. There will always be creatives who are willing to lowball because they need to work. Kasi mahirap. I get it. But if we don't take accountability for yourselves, how can we succeed? It's already so hard. And what you are spreading is going to make it even harder for the next generation of creatives or impressionable young and creatives who look up to you. That's all I'm just trying to make clear. Mahirap, guys. Mahirap. And we need the right attitude to succeed in the creative industry. Being entitled and removing accountability for ourselves is very, very hard. And the manner on how Seven did this just modeled a bit of that. But what he's fighting for is great. I hope that his talks with these people or these clients change things. I really, really, really do. But you can't change people who don't want to change, especially if they have leverage and power. There will always be people like that, Seven. There will always be clients like that. But you are getting clients who respect you. You are getting clients who see your value. Remove these clients who don't. I know they have leverage, maybe because I have this leverage, but if they have unhealthy business practices, many things you can do. Forget about them and focus on clients who do get to that level where lahat ng mga kliyente mo nirespeto ang value mo. You can get there. It takes work, but you can get there. Unionize with photographers so that all the top 20, 30, 40, 50 editorial photographers will be united. But it's so hard to do that, especially in a country that already struggles creatively. But you can do that. If you unionize, that's how most creatives get their way in terms of the industry. Like the writer's strike, right? The writers' strike, they did that in the US and they did it successfully. That's how they continuously standardize things. But to be able to do that here, I'm guessing is a very, very difficult, but it's very, very possible. So you can unionize. That's a possible thing. I really hope it works out for you, Seven. I wish you the best. There are so many ways to get to a place where all your clients will value you. Take it from me. I've been through it. It's possible. I'm just saying that the way you approach this might model behavior that would make it very difficult for yourself and for other creative professionals to get to that level. That's all I'm saying. I wish you the best. Thank you for the healthy conversations. And I hope other creatives can see I'm not against you. I just already know how hard it is to get to a place where you will be respected and you will not be questioned based on the rate that you give. It's hard. It takes a certain type of attitude. It takes accountability for yourself. If you don't have that, it's already so hard. You're just going to make it even harder. I am on your side, and that's why I'm being vocal about this. I hope you consider what I'm saying, and I wish all of you the best in your creative endeavors.